Vice President President Jagdeo responds to questions relating to the charges laid against Kidackie Amsterdam and allegations made against Glen Lall. Speaking at his press conference, Vice President President Jagdeo responded to questions asked regarding allegations made against Glen Lall and the arrest of Kidackie Amsterdam. Here is more from that press conference.
Dr. Jagdeo, in terms of you laboring the fact that the media sometimes be very unfair, I must say you are, and people have recognized you to be a seasoned, very accomplished politician. But it seems that you lack the understanding that media is not only a body that brings transparency, but is also a business. And media entities would go after things of interest, unlike things that lack any interest. The only interest that is given to the opposition, that is given to Kaicho News, that is given to failed entities, is the interest that you give them. So people are, the citizens of this country continue asking, yes, keep your press conferences, but make sure it's as relation to the relevance of what is going on in the country, how people could benefit more in this country. Because if you look at the comments on your live videos, and this is you showing the world, there's no need for a Kaicho. Kaicho News could look at your live program and figure out what they want to say, because when you say things, they say whatever they want to say. The people are asking that you continue to say what the PPP and by extension the government is doing for the country, and let that be, let that speak for itself.
Yeah, but if you claim to be media, and that is it, so you claim to be media, that means you should be at least objective. And I believe that what I do every week, in spite of the distortion by Kaicho News, more and more it reinforces in the minds of people that they're not a real media house. They're a political arm of a future political party. So if people look at their life, every week between YouTube and maybe Facebook and stuff, 25,000 people look at the life. They have a smaller readership than that. Or the sales, I don't know, maybe 6,000 or so papers that they sell. 6,000 or 8,000. So everybody would hear what I say. And then when they look at Kaicho News and what they have, how they represent it, they will see the distortion. So when people look at that for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, after a time, they then realize the true nature of this media house. And in a way, that's part of my objective too, that people will see through the true nature of the Kaicho News. So in future, when they speak about, when they invent their lies, like they did, where Jagdeo owned the Marriott, Jagdeo owned an airline, which Jagdeo owned the Berbice Bridge, which they used in the past, that nobody will pay attention to them because they will see them for what they are. So we need to continue this. And every week they think they're harming me. But when people read what they write and they listen to what we say, they see the gaping gap in between their portrayal of what we say. Then it just damages further their credibility, whatever little they have. And that's what we need to do. So I have to continue doing this. And the more that they get to extreme, it's more damaging to them. And in the future, I think people are not going to pay serious attention to them. It would affect their everything that they do. Even the serious stories, if they have any.
Do you feel to some extent the turn that Kaicho News and Glen Lall has become would have been your own doing in light of the fact that Glen Lall got off with murder under a previous PPP administration? He got off with tax evasion with the remigrant scam, bringing in Lexuses, and all of this was close to under your tenure. Do you think with him getting off with slap on the wrist, he feel he could do anything?
I don't know. I don't know about some of these things. I was out of government already, and I'd left office in 2011. But I don't want to get into Glen Lall and his transgressions here today. That could be dealt with elsewhere. I try to treat the journalists with respect. I have no respect for him and his mediocre views, and I'm sure I know what the journalists in his organization face, the abuse, etc. So I try not to take the position we have on the newspaper. The editorial policy is different than the way I want to treat the journalists. So sometimes they just get overbearing and they carry a preset line, and I have to address that too. So, but Glen Lall, I don't want to deal with this. People will see him for what he is. He's a mediocre guy who has no depth to anything he says, very populist, and he's being exposed on a daily basis. Not gonna make those other matters. Since you're part of the media, you should explore them carefully. Well, not carefully, publicly. Right? If you believe he killed someone, and he hasn't faced any consequences, you should call the DPP and write the Commissioner of Police. Go and do an interview with them. You're known for doing interviews everywhere, for breaking up the clamp on tires and stuff. How come you're asking me at my press conference, hear all these questions? Why don't you go and ask Glen Lall himself? Did you ever kill anyone? Would you ask him directly? Ask the Commissioner of Police. Go to the DPP. Do you intend to take any action against this person? Do that for me. You come every week and you ask me these questions here. I would hope that you will meet Glen Lall somewhere and ask him that question himself.
Dr. Jagdeo, the cybercrime laws as it relates to Kidackie Amsterdam. I have spoken to a few legal luminaries, and outside of the cybercrime laws, those discussions add up to conspiracy. They're treasonous.
Yeah.
Why has, well, I know the Attorney General might have played some part, or for advisor, or why is this be dealt with in such a mild manner? In the past, the Monroes just were discussing a plot behind the scene, and they were charged for treason. This is publicly two individuals discussing the beheading of the head of state and members of the political party and yourself. The decapitation more than one times, the plan, how it is to be done, what is the result to gain from that? Why are you going in that direction? Why is just a simple cybercrime is being suggested? Or
well, I think that is the initial charge, but there are other charges I hope that they would look at. As I said before, I think the police, they're delinquent too in these matters. It's almost like you don't want to interfere in these issues, because politicians shouldn't do that. But the police and the others have a responsibility to look at these matters and address them seriously. They deal with these matters routinely. I've seen some very egregious cases, not involving politicians, that they deal with routinely, and they need to move faster on these matters. But I agree with you, it's maybe seditious. If you want to cut off the president's head, the head of state, then that is akin to getting rid of the government.
Thank you for watching. Let us know what are your thoughts in the comments about the Vice President's response.